we invite to at our conference is this sixth international conference of theory and methodology and history, and we hope to hear interesting presentation today, and we invite everyone to ask questions. You can send them on the chat, and maybe Professor Vita Hamaniuk tell us more about our conferences.
Dear friends, I am very glad to welcome you at our university, Kryvyi Rih State Pedagogical University, at our conference. This conference have we for fifth time, and we have know so many people and reference this year, but I hope that this conference will be interesting, and you have a nice day. I wish you successful reports, successful discussion, and new ideas. Thank you.
In this year, we have live format, and everyone will be present our presentation, and we hope our question. And the first report the first report have title Improving the Quality of Higher Technological Education by Overcoming Educational Losses. Welcome.
But I see that this talk speaker, Volodymyr Nazarenko, still not connected.
Yes, and maybe maybe Andriy Yefremenko now present your article. Please, Andriy Yefremenko. Okay, when then now we have presentation. Belief in building a full-fledged distance learning course in athletic training.
Thanks. You can see my presentation, and I started my my report. Hello, I pleased to begin today's presentation. This issue of developing distance learning in the field of physical education is becoming increasingly relevant due to the growing demand for flexible educational models and modern technologies. Today, I would like to share my expectation regarding the possibility of creating fully fledged distance physical education courses. This can serve as a kind of starting point for their development. When imagining the most effective educational course, I recall a scene from the Wachowski film The Matrix, where the hero uploads kung fu skills from a flash drive in seconds and is able to perform them instantly. In context, traditional motor learning involves acquiring skill under the guidance of a qualified instructor. This is we know is face-to-face learning. It seems modern distance learning lies somewhere in between it. But so let's imagine it as a black box. The input is program learning, the output is developed competence. How should effectiveness distance learning be organized? My personal experience suggests that distance motor learning works, but I had face-to-face experience beforehand. What about who haven't? They may say it's impossible or very difficult. So, for example, fitness training via mobile app videos. It looks like simple movement repetition without critical reflection. Yet it works. Can we say that this develops motor competencies? It seems that mirroring an avatar's movement isn't enough. That's not really distance learning. Let's try to understand the essence of distance learning in physical education using a hypothetical athletic training courses. It may seem this limits the potential of distance learning, reducing it to a demonstration of certain courses shaped by such limitation. We don't see this as a contradiction. We are merely offering our answer to the question: is it responsible to develop distance physical education courses? So I presented our framework. A student's task in an athletic training courses include gaining knowledge and learning to perform exercise. Second, developing an understanding of nature and components of athletic trainings. Third, learning to analyze, evaluate, and organize the training process. The presented framework includes elements and their interconnection necessary for development an athletic training course in distance format. Its structure is dynamic, centers the adaptability of individual components. For instance, the primary learning device, smartphones or tablets, may be replaced by virtual or augmented reality tools in the future. Specialized applications are most suitable for learning, assessment, and monitoring. This can be combined in various ways depending on the task. There is a need for specialized apps for testing. Monitoring can be enabled through internal app purchase, provided safe data extraction and distribution are ensured. Paradoxically, communication is the strongest aspect of the structure. Every element of the framework involves information exchange during the course. Full-fledged workspace or group chat in social media or messenger. But the main limitation is the communication occurs exclusively in digital format. The most static component appears to be content storage. Cloud-based storage is proposed, which will likely remain relevant in the future. Ultimately, only practical implementation will determine the effectiveness of this approach or framework. So, our belief in the possibility of developing effective physical education courses has not changed by the end of my presentation. The practical nature of physical education, the potential for increased risk, and the specific technical requirements pose serious challenge for creating distant course. This often raises questions about the practicality of such courses. Distance learning developers must consider ethical principles, such as personal data protection and participant privacy. Attention must be given to the digital divide, referring to inequalities in access to digital technologies, which may affect students' ability to practice regardless of their cultural, geographic, or educational backgrounds. It's essential to consider the diversity of learners, including those with special education needs, and ensure equal access to learning opportunity. It's clear that transferring the traditional format of athletics training into an electronic shell is not appropriate. This will inevitably lead to blended learning. It is important to clearly distinguish the distance format, empirically test the proposed approach, and ultimately determine the feasibility of developing comprehensive athletics training course in distance format. Thank you for your attention. And
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
presentation. And maybe we have a question or no? And I have a question. Please tell us what apps or what teach can help your student check if you if they're doing exercise correctly at home.
Thanks for your question.
Because we understand that courses at physical education need more practical aspect, more offline format.
Yes, I understand, but my presentation was
Maybe uh,
Dear colleagues, if you stuck in English, probably you can use your own language to answer these questions, and we further make a needful translation.
Дякую вам, шановні колеги, радий вас бачити і чути. Я прошу вибачення, дуже маю не дуже англійську, незважаючи на те, що є в цьому потреба. Якщо я правильно зрозумів запитання, то воно стосувалося того, які додатки пропоную я так своїм студентам
Які
використовувати
додатки, які техніки для того, щоб
навчання.
студенти вдома могли перевірити, чи правильно вони виконують ці вправи, тому що саме фізична освіта, вона потребує такої більш взаємодії, підтримки, корекції в цьому в освітньому процесі.
Так, от саме це і було основною проблемою. От ви задали те питання, за якого, скажімо так, я почав займатися цією темою. Не тільки тому, що це пов'язано, звичайно, зараз з моєю безпосередньою роботою. Так, я мешкаю в Харкові, і в нас навчання продовжується, скажімо так, в дистанційному форматі. Працюю я в Харківській державній академії фізичної культури, і ну, якби це мій фаховий напрямок. І саме це питання найбільш мене цікавило. Тобто ми мали вже якийсь певний досвід з 2020 року, як ми працюємо зі студентами, чому ми маємо їх навчати. Я саме працюю на кафедрі легкої атлетики, і, як ви розумієте, моя дисципліна є найбільш практичною. І якраз я ось в процесі розробки нашої теми зіштовхнувся з тим, що немає таких додатків, які я можу порекомендувати студентам, там як навчитися бігати, стрибати чи інше. Тому було запропоновано на даному етапі от якраз зосередитись на розробці з доступних. Тобто, ну, подивитись, з чого ми можемо зібрати цілісний курс. І взагалі, чи можемо ми його зібрати? Я, от, наприклад, там так забираючи наперед, я не можу дати відповідь наразі. Наразі ще я більше схиляюсь про те, що це неефективно, так не можна, наприклад, навчати. Тому наступним етапом буде якраз розробка спеціальних додатків, які будуть пов'язані от з цим руховим навчанням. Тобто ми знаємо, як навчати face-to-face, і спробувати перенести безпосередньо в це навчальний додаток. Звичайно, це має бути пов'язано з, цей додаток має включати чіткі рекомендації, як виконати вправу, показ цієї вправи, і, звичайно, якісь варіанти, як я можу оцінити результат, і як може оцінити, звичайно, студент, провести самооцінювання. І що цікаво, от в процесі, коли я шукав різні додатки, я натрапив на гарний додаток такий, де ось, в принципі, от те, що я описав, от вже представлено тільки для от таких звичайних там рутинних вправ. Там це, ну, назвемо просто, це називається там розтяжка або там розвиток гнучкості. Тобто, і виглядає так, якщо спробувати такий додаток зробити, то в контексті тих завдань навчання, які були перелічені, їх справді можна зробити. А от якщо відповідати конкретно на ваше запитання, які б додатки я б міг порекомендувати, якщо б це було в площині просто фізичного виховання, то є досить, от як я навів приклад, гарний додаток для розвитку гнучкості, який дає зрозумілі рухи, він гнучко налаштовується, тобто там можна індивідуально підібрати навантаження, але він не має, звичайно, рекомендацій, як це навантаження підбирати. Тобто мінус кожного додатку, що от я казав, що це дзеркальне повторення. Ми вчимося просто повторювати, але критичних навичок ми не набуваємо. Чи правильно ми робимо, чи це недостатнє навантаження. Тобто те, що більш, ну, як я вважаю, важливіше, що пов'язано якраз з цією, ну, як я це називаю, руховою компетентністю. Але це більш важливо для мене в контексті, як фахівця, ми готуємо тренерів, і для мене важливо, як от ці вправи легкої атлетики, я не можу їх навчити, звичайно, бігати там 100 метрів зі старту низького. Я не можу їх навчити стрибати з жердиною. І майбутнім тренерам там з єдиноборств, наприклад, це не потрібно. Їм потрібно взяти ці вправи легкої атлетики, доступні, і знати, як використати у власному виді спорту для покращення, ну, найчастіше це фізичної підготовленості. Тобто, і якраз в цій площині, ну, і планується подальша розробка саме от додатків, про які, напевно, ви запитали. Ну, ось так я можу відповісти. Пробачте, що довго, я давно ні з ким не спілкувався, і ви вибачте.
Дякуємо. Сергій Олексійович, ви маєте ще питання? Бо я теж маю. Увімкніть, будь ласка, мікрофон.
Ну, якщо дійсно, як то кажуть, ми тут з цієї доповіді переходимо на українську, ну ось, будь ласка, в мене є, щоб наближатися до відповідної матриці, ось такий шолом віртуальної реальності. І принаймні я можу використати певні додатки, які пропонуються, ну, наприклад, Володимир Іванович Бабич з Луганського національного університету порекомендував там додатки для боксу, він у цьому спеціалізується, додатки для ось такої реальних рухів у віртуальному просторі тощо. І ось нещодавно Zoom запропонував можливість під'єднання такого класу пристроїв з живими людьми до конференції Zoom. Власне, з того дуже малого досвіду, що я маю, основна проблема використання таких додатків виключно у віртуальному просторі – це проблема реальної безпеки. Тобто, коли я, наприклад, виходжу за межі певного безпечного простору, я можу збити певний там об'єкт у реальному просторі тощо. Ну, наприклад, у себе люстро можу спробувати рукою задіти. Власне, питання стосується того, як ви розглядаєте, чи є можливим, чи є доцільним у режимі синхронного зв'язку, можливо, як то кажуть, це у режимі трансляції камери, чи, можливо, у режимі ось такої віртуальної трансляції, щоб були не лише певні настанови, які ми можемо отримати від додатку з правильного виконання рухів тощо, а щоб була оцінка живої людини, тренера, викладача під час трансляції щодо правильності виконання рухів, щодо такої певної там асистивності тощо. З вашого досвіду, як то кажуть, з пандемічного періоду, як ви практикуєте саме синхронну складову, коли не можете зустрітися у реальному просторі, але можете спробувати поасистувати віртуально? Дякую.
Дякую за запитання. Поки ви його ставили, в мене вже неслись перед очима кадри майбутнього. Звичайно, ну, перше, це доступність таких інструментів викликає поки що побоювання, що не скоро ми зможемо таким чином навчатись. Хоча, звичайно, якщо їх вартість знизиться, а софт також стане доступним, це буде краще. Щодо практичного навчання, в нас поки що все обмежувалось відеоконференціями і, ну, звичайно, дзеркальним показом та повторюванням вправ з боку студентів. Оцінка відбувалась лише на індивідуальному рівні, коли, ну, невеликі групи, у нас декілька викладачів працюють з групами, групи невеликі, і тому можна було розбивати на 5-6 людей, і таким чином, ну, виникала можливість десь щось контролювати. Але, в принципі, якщо от ми говоримо про вправи з боксу, так, вони є, в принципі, досить доступними, так само, як і вправи з легкої атлетики. І, в принципі, візуального контролю може бути достатньо. Тим паче, якщо ми говоримо в контексті там дистанційного навчання, де нам не потрібно так залучати значну кількість часу інструктора, тобто він має навчити основному, чому буде потім сам студент практикуватися. В принципі, ту технологію, яку ви зазначили, я з нею, скажімо так, не знайомий, от такі спільні конференції, і дякую вам за таку, скажімо так, ідею. Я хочу її вивчити і, можливо, спробувати в майбутньому. Ну, так, наразі.
І тоді від
Щиро
мене
дякую.
так, дякуємо. І від мене ще одне питання. В контексті того, що наразі все ж таки більшість освітніх процесів відбуваються в дистанційному форматі, ми чудово розуміємо, що це наслідком цього є зниження цього рівня фізичної підготовки. Яким чином, можливо, варто чи ви вважаєте, чи варто змінити підходи взагалі до оцінювання техніки, правил виконання, техніки безпеки, можливо, ось цих вступних вимог, початкових вимог до чи перевірки початкового рівня підготовленості студентів? Як ви вбачаєте ось цю проблему вирішення? Ось все, що було розроблено, воно було розроблено для попередніх рівнів. І зараз є дуже великий я по собі, наприклад, бачу, і по своєму оточенню, що великий рівень між тим, як це було раніше, у мене, наприклад, і тим, як проводиться це зараз. Як можна подолати ось ці втрати, я б сказала? Які шляхи є?
Добре. Тут, скажімо так, на першу частину дякую за запитання. Я мав відповідь з двох слів, але ви додали другу частину запитання, і тому тепер стало трошки складніше. На першу частину запитання я вам так можу відповісти. Це взагалі окрема тема, яка, звичайно, мене хвилює, і не тільки в контексті так званого, давайте це узагальнимо, да, онлайну, а взагалі підходу до організації фізичного виховання ми поширюємо так серед студентської молоді, і тому відповім так: лише врахування індивідуального прогресу у тій руховій діяльності, яка вивчається. Не потрібно ніякого тестування, ніяких норм і того чогось іншого. Наприклад, у нас є там норми, ці державні тести фізичного виховання, вони є певні узагальнені, так, якщо на них подивитися, вони є не досить складними. Ну, тобто це якось регулюється на державному рівні. Якщо ми говоримо на рівні ЗВО, якщо ми зазначаємо про автономію, то ми можемо, в принципі, планувати фізичне виховання вже з огляду зі своїх уявлень. Тому я на всіх там платформах, у всіх місцях, і мене підтримують колеги про те, що тільки індивідуальний прогрес. Хтось слабший, хтось сильніший, нам потрібно побачити, чому він навчився. І тим паче в контексті фізичного виховання онлайн це є важливіше, тому що ми не бачимо студента. Хоча от тут навіть є певне таке протиріччя. От дивіться, ми коли навчаємось офлайн, у нас є там 3-2 заняття на тиждень, ми приходимо в аудиторію, на годину-дві займаємось зі студентами, ми вважаємо, ми все зробили. 3 години навантаження, все. Ми вважаємо, що якщо нема онлайну, нічого не відбувається, значить все погано. Але в тому то й справа, що виходить так, що фізичне виховання в нас закінчується і починається, якщо це офлайн, в аудиторії і все. І далі ми так само нічого не знаємо про студента. А от якщо ми будемо враховувати саме його прогрес, ми будемо розуміти, чи відбувається щось без нас, чи взагалі працює наш цей онлайн фізичному вихованні. Тобто, ось таким чином, якщо по-простому, найпростіший метод. Прийшов до нас студент, ми його якимсь чином навчаємо, тому що ми плануємо навчати, щось заміряємо його фізичні можливості і через якийсь період так само контролюємо, порівнюємо результати і говоримо, що він досягає результату. Якщо не досягає, то чому? Тому що він там чогось не робить, чи тому що наше втручання для нього неефективно. І це дозволить, звичайно, індивідуалізувати цей підхід. І, напевно, здається, дітям так буде цікавіше, студентам буде цікавіше. І тому в контексті відповіді на першу частину запитання відповім на іншу, що звичайно, ми заявляємо про втрати у фізичному вихованні, але зниження фізичної активності, цей тренд був і до пандемічних часів. Тобто тут не можна сказати, що відбулось якесь значне погіршення. Тобто, якщо люди, тут якби важливий цей момент на рівні шкільних років, на рівні масового спорту. Якщо з раннього віку людині, якби так би мовити, розвинули ось ці навички, там, до рухового навчання, до фізичної підготовки, то надалі вона, в принципі, от як там з тим же ж по аналогії там з катанням на велосипеді, вона буде якимсь чином їх підтримувати. Якщо це не було розвинуто, то в 17 років сформована людина вже може не сприймати, в принципі, ваші там намагання її навчити там регулярній фізичній активності. І знов-таки, моя, напевно, найулюбленіша фраза, що це як чистити зуби. Ви чистите це, не задумуючись, для чого це потрібно. Так і має бути з фізичними вправами. І, в принципі, тоді не буде ніяких втрат. Кожен для себе свій обсяг фізичної активності в процесі життя випрацює, починаючи, наприклад, зі студентських років. Дякую вам.
Дякуємо. Ваша доповідь, принаймні для мене, є надзвичайно актуальною. Я сподіваюся, ви скажете, в будь-якому віці не пізно починати. Але бачу, ви навпаки песимістично кажете, що починати вже пізно. Добре, а ми будемо рухатися далі. І у нас є перший наш... Так, ще раз дякую і за доповідь, і за такі цікаві вказівки. Ми будемо рухатись далі і маємо наступну доповідь. До нас вже приєднався Володимир Назаренко і хоче нам презентувати свою доповідь на тему подолання освітніх втрат. Чекаємо.
Доброго ранку всім. Не знаю, готові на англійській, може і на українській, на англійській, як вам в якому форматі краще.
Поки у нас усі учасники присутні виключно з України, то можна і українською. Але якщо ви вже готувалися англійською, то, звісно ж, ми заохочуємо англійською.
Робили англійське. Може трошки, як кажуть, покахікувати. Якраз сезон. Тут і фізичні вправи трошки не допомагають. Бо як сезонні віруси, тільки студентів в сесії, трошки багато роботи, тому якщо трошки перепрошую, якщо буде трошки або тихо, або хрипіть. Ось.
Пане Володимире, чи є можливість перейти в режим демонстрації? Дякую.
Switch to English. So this is like to present you a comprehensive study, research on effects of COVID pandemics and war, full-scale war on quality of student education, and ways how we found or how we can overcome them. But important here to note is when talking about these educational losses, and university, we should take into consideration also high school education, because university is continuation of high school. So of course it's result, and then say that like high school education is to blame, but it's like it's continuation of the process started long before they entered the university. And of course there were some factors that impacted it before the war, COVID, there was other things. So, but definitely with COVID and then full-scale war, it's definitely changed a lot. And especially in our study, we focus on Kiev specifically data, because in Kiev we also usually have a lot of fire alarms and students need to stop education and go to shelter. So it also affects like indirectly cost process. So in our research, we studied impact of COVID-19 and Russian invasion on Ukrainian education in general, but specifically in case study of our university. So of course, the biggest challenges is disturbed academic processes. So you can because I mean like just in the lecture itself can be interrupted or the process can be interrupted. Of course, there's infrastructure and laboratory damage, undeniable psychological and physical strain and difficulties. So all of these factors combined present a lot of challenges for both teachers and students. So, but it's important, and of course, in our research, we focus on specifically technological or technology-related specialties. Yes, it will be also important for future resilience and recovery. Of course, they're also important right now, the specialties, but also they require more equipment, more time, and more strain. It's right now, one of the major disciplines is mathematics, but mathematics is like one of the, also similar to physical education, also been degrading the quality of mathematical preparation, mathematical knowledge. And without this, of course, it's hard to teach and study technological specialties in university when it's supposedly to continue and to be based on university education already full fundamentals, the physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. But if it's the preparation is not sufficient, it also impacts. Apart from COVID and war, there's also lack of proper knowledge and skills. The prior education impacts university education as well. Of course, there's been a different research on this topic before us. The first one. Well, hopefully, this will be like final phase, and this will be win victory, and of course, will be no education losses in future. This will be like the final phase of this. Of course, they study different approaches on this. Some of them study psychological, some specifically focus on COVID. There is some research that studied, of course, effect of on different conflicts. Of course, there's no very comprehensive full-scale study that takes into account all of the factors, and also there's different studies that present different ways to overcome this. So we consider them in our research as well, it's being solved and attended right now. Of course, in this case, it's better to combine different approaches that already worked in different areas and adapt them to our case study. And of course, think in terms of long-term effects. So not just right now find a way to overcome one issue, but present a new methodology. So it's already will help in future, because university is 4-year or 6-year education. It's no means a short-term period. We need to plan for all of this 6-year period. In our research, we aim to determine directions, how to improve the quality of this education and to at least combat some of these educational losses. So we took for the study data from 2019 to 2024. We took both undergraduate and graduate students, so bachelor and masters. We studied results of their expulsion rate, on how they perform in summer session, because summer is combination of both winter and spring term. So summer usually gives a better results of overall how the year been, how they perform overall in terms of year, and how the expulsion rate in terms of year been. Because we took into consideration different internal and external factors. Also, apart from, as I mentioned, COVID and war, so took into consideration their academic performance, knowledge in the study. Which data we took, the general marks, expulsion rate, was divided into two factors, like external and internal factors that affect educational losses. In terms of internal factors, external factors, changes with COVID to distance learning, decrease in engagement with students when it's online. There's limited practical training because of that, and social interaction, especially in terms of group project or group work. Also, of course, due to wars with security risks, psychological traumas, damage to equipment, power outages, and internet connection issues, especially with remote education. A lot of students changed their place of study, moved. For instance, if we have hybrid education, both online and offline, some of them can't attend offline because they moved somewhere else, or maybe change country. So it also affects the educational process. In terms of internal factors that we indicated, with also inefficient teaching methods that like taken from past, very overloaded curriculum. There's a lot of theoretical materials, a lot of different topics, subjects. The students don't have enough time to focus and don't have enough energy to work on everything, so they don't know what to start with. Also, equipment and materials themselves are outdated, at least maybe not modern, because it also mentioned this educational impacts not only students but teachers as well, so they have also issues with preparing materials. Also harder to make assessments, fair assessments, and effective, again, with mixed education and with different issues present. There is now less time and opportunities for academic support in real time. There's also this have to do with knowledge from like school, high school that students are lacking. They also have issues with organizing their independent work because universities need to work and plan and study independently. Of course, there are many more. For example, here I present just a couple of few. Our research studies, these findings. It's a number of undergraduate and graduate students who have academic depths divided by the departments, like technology or technology-related department. It's like a number of students and a number of years. Of course, it's in some, especially like veterinary medicine, which is very practical, empirical, it's even more evident with other technological. It's also quite special, like for instance, for graduates, it's also mechanical, and because mechanical is also like quite practical oriented. Of course, they have to do this. Livestock and aquatic resources. It's also been constantly improving changes, but all of this like data, this is like starting from pre-COVID to COVID and war. It's gradually changes, and of course this leads to drop in student performance, and also based on, like here we showcase, mentions the undergraduate average score for this technology and related departments, usually going down. And I should note with these marks that also teachers themselves take into considerations that students are affected. So usually they like grade better work than before, like before COVID or even more, there was much more stricter rules and regulation on scoring. Right now it's more loosened, and still even with that, students performing worse than before. Don't take it into consideration. Especially in some departments. So now university found like on both on institution level and local teacher level or department level, looking into different solutions, how to overcome this. One of the simpler, like to overcome preparatory issue is we had a free courses for first year students in natural, mathematics, humanitarian disciplines. So they can like to say bridge the gap between their lack of high school training for university to be ready for university courses. For instance, some students are, let's say they're interested in robotics or like mechanics, but then when they found out that it requires mathematics, they try to drop because they like lack knowledge in mathematics. For instance, that's one of the down factors. This is like one of the issues for technology and technology-related disciplines. Of course, there are other ways that we look for to overcome these issues, doing like digital transformation program and more access to large conference platform, to digital online courses platform, have different ways like through email or chat or messenger application to talk with students, communicate with them, not like during the class, but after class in free time, in sending them more different like digital materials. There's been a lot of publicly available courses for students, even ranging from English language to mathematics and like computer science related disciplines. So there's more opportunities for them right now than before. In this sense, and the things that we did at university started like digital transformation even before we had a digital platform, but it was more like optional. So with COVID and war, it became like mandatory to have courses. The students can upload courses. Their teachers upload courses, students upload the assignments, communicate through platform, online educational platform. There have been more online materials and resources for students. Teachers change and update them periodically, and you don't need to go to library to access them, or need to go to class to access like paper version. There's different electronic tools. Other things that we implemented is individual plans, consultation, been slowly, let's say, improving like equipment base, especially for some technological specialties, trying to generate automatic feedback and response system for the students. Like, to summarize, general like methodologies presented to overcome educational losses that result of distributed continuity, decline in student performance. One of them, as I mentioned today, is remedial courses for first year students with digital educational platform, different consultation psychological supports for students available. Also in terms of academic support, in identifying students with education losses and issues and trying to help them in with individual plans, study plans, and individual trajectories. There's also newer equipment for like when we have, because we have, as I mentioned, hybrid education usually, especially with this year, majority of students have offline education, only few have online education. So like right now, again, equipment and laboratory became important for them, and they need to attend and have like practical hands-on experience, technology related specialties. They're trying to implement different automated like messaging and other systems for the students through digital platform and online messengers. As I mentioned in the beginning, this education loss is not like this one-time occurrence. It's already part of systematic and multifactorial processes that happened before. In order to overcome them, we need to also plan accordingly for future, not for short-term, but long-term. Of course, with digital equipment and like it's no modern like, generative AI and other platforms, we can try to make more personalized content for the students. There's more optional for digital support and digital education available. Because in future, it's also be nice to study more impact of other students in different universities, but also study a bit of high school, their performance as well, compare them with their colleagues from other countries that are not affected by the war. And of course, this is like, as I mentioned again, this is like complex issue, so it's not easily overcome by just one institution or universities. Municipal, at least international level, the easiest other ways, at least to collaborate between universities, high schools and universities to overcome them. And дякую за увагу. Будуть питання.
Дякуємо за дуже актуальну доповідь. І ми знову маємо щось про втрати. Сподіваюся, що буде і про здобутки, хоча б третя доповідь. Маю зізнатися, що я читала вашу статтю, і одним із питань, яке мене зацікавило, є, ви зазначаєте, що для того, щоб подолати освітні втрати, ви пропонуєте, одним із рішень є пропонування студентам студентам першого року додаткових навчальних курсів. Це обов'язкові курси, чи це курси, які наслідки, наприклад, матиме, якщо студент не завершить цей курс, якщо студент не отримає позитивної оцінки, чи вписуються ці курси потім в оцю індивідуальні плани, їхні дипломи, так? Чи не виходите ви потім за рамки тих кредитів? І як це вирішується ось на такому рівні?
Ці курси, вони кажуть, безоплатні, вони не впливають, тобто і добровільні, тобто це пропонується, ну це те, що було раніше, може хтось знає, що вступні були як різні, то для, коли ще до ЗНО, були вступні курси, що для підготовки до вступу, то це такі ж аналогії, тільки для першого вже курсу, тобто це добровільній основі, вони їх проходять там, в різному гібридному форматі. З приводу зараховується, це мені треба казати, в колег дізнатися, бо я цих в першому не проводжу, я колег проводив в третіх-четвертих курсах чи магістра. Саме за це якраз два співавтори моїх відповідали, бо не якраз відповідають пані Оксана і пана Лариса за методологію, методологічну частину. Тому наскільки, мені здається, вони не входять, тобто це не входить в графік кредитів, тобто це як ото курси англійського, так само просто в вільний час, ну, вільний час там визначено скільки раз на тиждень, як правило, в гібридному форматі, тобто дистанційно очно вони проходять, це бал, але воно не впливає на їхні підсумкові результати, це на загальну кількість кредитів теж. Я в них потім перепитаю, якщо що, можу точно про це відповісти.
Дякуємо. Може, хтось ще має питання? Тому що тематика освітніх втрат і як їх вирішувати є нині актуальною не тільки для України, а й для цілого світу. Конфлікти у нас відбуваються, на жаль, тільки збільшується це число. Добре. Тоді, можливо, якщо питань немає, ми можемо переходити до наступної доповіді. And now we have next presentation. Пане Володимиру, будь ласка, припиняйте демонструвати екран. Dear Professor Samarikov, next presentation for our plan.
Our next presenter will be our dear colleagues from Kherson, Olena Kokhanovska, Natalia Osipova. Before this presentation, I would like to make a very small insight. This team was presented the first article in our some years ago new journal Educational Technology Quarterly, and I would like to indicate that their paper teacher training for the use of digital tools of the formative assessors in the implementation of concepts of the new Ukrainian school is second most viewed paper in our journal. Moreover, we have a quite good international representation of the result since for the 3 years, 21 citations, and moreover, most of them in such high cities journals as Education and Information Technology, etc. So we are happy, we were happy to get an exciting paper from this team, and we would like to invite Olena and Natalia to present the new, I think, very valuable research. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 1 second. Okay, for sharing. Do you see the screen? Чи бачите ви презентацію?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We can begin. Okay. Good morning, dear colleagues. It's a great honor to me and to my team to speak today and share the results of our study conducted in the Kherson region of Ukraine. My name is Elena Kokhanovska, and I represent the group of authors from Kherson Academy of Continuing Education. Today, I will focus on the problem how artificial intelligence is being implemented in teaching in service training during wartime, and what we can learn from this unique context. Imagine a city. Their life becomes harder and harder every day. Kherson is not just a city, it's a symbol of unbrokenness. The war is felt here at every step, and every minute can be fatal. Kherson is a city where at 3 p.m. the streets are deserted by the shelling, and where every sound can be the last. Under these conditions, every such an ordinary scene as studying becomes a challenge. However, education is extremely important, and parents, teachers, children, and the community understand this. Under this condition, even such as a challenge. We conducted study provides a comprehensive analysis of the regional dynamics of artificial intelligence integration into the in-service teacher training system in the Kherson region under the exceptional of Martel law. The findings highlight both the transformative potential of AI technologies in supporting educational continuity during crisis condition and the critical needs for the context-sensitive approaches to their implementation. Theoretical analysis of the normative legal framework of scientific methodological literature enabled the identification and classification of the core benefits of AI integration into the educational process. This includes expanded access to data-driven digital resources and personalization of learning pathway, automatic of formative and summative assessments, development of interactive and adaptive learning environments, and deployment of virtual assistants to facilitate communication and feedback. However, these advantages are counterbalanced by a set of systemic challenges, particularly the insufficient preparedness of educators of AI integration, ethical concerns related to privacy and algorithmic transparency, and infrastructural and technical limitation, especially acute under wartime conditions. Further study is needed on the possibilities of applying artificial intelligence in education and the educational needs of teachers of this topic, as well as the compliance of in-service training programs for the development of digital competence for teachers with the digital competence framework for Ukrainian citizen researching. These issues will help develop in-service training program and prepare teachers for the effective use of AI in the educational process. The purpose of the study and the main objective and presented on the slide. So let me not state them, but move on to highlighting the main results of the study. Many international organizations and projects focus their efforts on introducing AI into the educational process, in particular on teacher training. Documents from organizations such as Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the European Commission and UNESCO emphasize the importance of integrating AI into educational systems to improve learning and teaching. In October 2023, Forbes Advision surveys 500 practicing educators in the United States about their experiences with artificial intelligence in the classroom. The sample included a variety of teachers from different states with different backgrounds. The study proved that the vast majority of US teachers integrate artificial intelligence tool into their teaching. The most common tools used by educators are AI-based online games, adaptive learning platform, automated assessment and feedback system, chatbots for learning support, intelligent tutoring system, and other tools. However, along the benefits of using artificial intelligence in the educational process, teachers also feel that there are dangers. Plagiarism in essays and written works of students, reduced human interaction, data privacy, and security breaches, with teachers losing their jobs, for example, due to AI dominance, unequal access to AI-based resources, automatization of written tasks, etc. In September-December 2023, an all-Ukrainian study of the use of artificial intelligence in school education was conducted. The aim of the study was analyzing the extent to which artificial intelligence and its capabilities are used in Ukrainian school education. The survey covered almost 2,000 teachers from different regions of Ukraine, including those living abroad. A teacher's opinion on use of artificial intelligence in the educational process differs significantly. On the one hand, on the one side, they recognize the potential benefits of this technology and its ability to optimize the learning process. On the other side, many teachers are concerned about the possible risks, such as limiting students' creative development, increasing the risk of academic integrity, and unethical use of AI tools. Some teachers say that they lack a deep understanding of how such technologies work, which raises concerns about possible mistakes in their use. The issue of academic integrity in the use of AI is a particular concern for educators. In May-June 2024, we surveyed 164 teachers in the Kherson region to assess the real state of AI use in education under Martel law. Despite blackouts, unstable communication, and psychological strain, educators are actively using AI to automate routine tasks, create interactive materials, and support students' well-being. AI has become not just an innovation, but a lifeline to maintain education continuity in the crisis. Summarizing the results of international, regional, and national studies allowed to identify both common features and unique peculiarities of the introduction of artificial intelligence in the educational sphere. Thus, among the common features inherent in all three levels, in the high interest of teachers in using AI as a tool to support the educational process, especially in creating digital content. At the same time, in all three cases, there are concerns about the ethical use of AI, data security, and threats to academic integrity. The differences relate primarily to the conditions of implementation. In the US, the spread of AI is accompanied by the availability of technical infrastructure, sustainable digital education policies, and access to systematic teacher training. At the national level, Ukraine has a significant potential, but its implementation is hampered by limited resources. A lack of teachers' materials and unequal access to digital technology. In contrast, Kherson region demonstrates a unique situation. Despite the difficult conditions of war, limited technical facilities, and constant risks of communication disruption, teachers are highly motivated to use AI and actively engage in specialized training. The regional trends identified in the study allow us to outline the peculiarities of AI implementation in the context of long-term distance learning, unstable environment, and psychological stress. Growing demand for practical-oriented programs adapted to Martel law conditions. Awareness of the potential of AI as a tool to support the continuity of the educational process, the emphasis of the pedagogical community on ethical standards, and the need to build digital integrity. The obtained results confirm the feasibility of applying regionally sensitive approaches to the integration of artificial intelligence into the system of in-service training of teachers, especially in crisis conditions. On findings confirmed the need for a tailored professional development program on AI use in education. In response, we launched two distance learning courses, Neural Networks in Education and Artificial Intelligence in the Educational Process, designed for teachers working in wartime conditions. These practice-oriented flexible courses were completed by over 100 teachers and significantly improved their digital competence and confidence of using AI tools. Thus, analyzing the feedback from the in-service training courses, we can conclude that they contributed to the improvement of the digital competence of the participants, deepened their knowledge and understanding of artificial intelligence and the specific of its use in the educational process. In addition to specific courses, the Academy constantly implements various online webinars, conferences, and master classes on the implementation of AI in educational process. We continue to support teachers through trainings, webinars, and AI-focused master classes. Special attention is given to ethical use and academic integrity in distance learning. Despite the war, Kherson educators demonstrate adaptability, resilience, and readiness to embrace AI as a tool to sustaining and improving education. In conclusion, the successful implementation of AI in teacher training system, particularly under crisis conditions, requires an integrated approach that combines pedagogical relevance, technological feasibility, and regional specificity. The experience of the Kherson region illustrates the potential for leveraging AI to support education resilience and offers a model for other regions facing similar challenges. The results of the study can serve as a foundation for the development of regional and national strategies that promote the ethical, effective, and sustainable integration of AI in education. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for very interesting report. And we have in this research, we have a small victory because we could see that our teachers actively use AI in educational process for very different tasks. And I have a question.
Okay.
How can we share your experience, at least across Ukraine? And do you plan to do this?
Okay. Can you speak in Ukrainian if you can? Okay. It will be more easy for me. I can speak English, but not so easy as Ukrainian. Окей, чи правильно я зрозуміла ваше питання стосовно того, як ви поширювали досвід правильно свій на Україну, так?
Як ви можете поширити, бо наразі цей досвід описано лише в Херсонському регіоні, так? І цей курс, який ви проводили, яким чином його можна було б узагальнити на Україну? Чи буде якась специфіка, якщо це буде узагальнення на всю Україну, хоча б на Україну? І чи плануєте ви це робити? Чи плануєте зосередитись виключно на своєму регіоні?
Ні, звісно, дане дослідження може бути поширене на інші регіони, особливо ті регіони, які знаходяться в схожій ситуації, як Херсонська область. Специфіка даного регіону в тому, що дистанційне навчання, так, тут є не змішане навчання, а навчання є повністю дистанційним. Плюс, крім того, що специфіка у здобувачах. Тобто здобувачі можуть бути тут в даному випадку із, наприклад, з окупованих територій. Це можуть бути здобувачі, наприклад, також там з різних регіонів, які навчаються за кордоном. Тобто класи дуже різні. І ми вбачаємо, перш за все, звісно, що можна це дослідження поширити на аналогічні регіони, цю модель, і, зокрема, ці курси. Але, звісно, в деякій, можливо, трансформації можна далі це оптимізувати і до всеукраїнського масштабу. Ми активно співпрацюємо з Інститутом цифровізації України НАПН, і тому сподіваємося, що дані результати надалі будуть поширені не лише в межах нашого регіону, але й в тому числі на аналогічні регіони і Україну цілком. Дякую за запитання.
Дякую. Maybe anyone have questions? Окей. Щиро дякуємо за доповідь.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we have our next report. Please, Pranati Palai, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then we have our next presentation. It's exploring the impact of in-service teacher education of the professional development of elementary teachers, a case study of Odisha. And Professor Pranati Palai, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you have a presentation? Can you start your presentation, your slides?
Yes, ma'am. Just sharing. So, ma'am, am I audible?
Thank you. Excellent.
Am I visible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So, good afternoon to everybody present over here. Myself, Pranati Pillai. I'm a research scholar of Department of Education of Ravenshaw University, Cuttack, Odisha, and from India. Today I'll be discussing about the topic, that's my paper, exploring the impact of in-service teacher education on the professional development of elementary teachers, a case study of Odisha. So before going to the slide, I would like to discuss that particularly teachers are the milestone for the development of the or the holistic development of the students. So in that particular aspect, we can say that the teachers must be proficient and their professional development should be ensured so that they can build the child's progress or child's development in a positive note. So from this point, I would like to discuss that Odisha, particularly in case of Odisha, a state where 22% of the population that belong to the scheduled caste or tribal people are there. So in that particular aspect, or in that particular case, it is very difficult on the part of the teachers, that is for general teachers, to impart education or to actively participate in the teaching learning process because of the linguistic and socioeconomic diversity that persist in that particular area or region. So, in-service teacher education program has the most significant role or important for the professional development of the teachers so that the teachers will be acquainted with the current trends or current issues related to education or educational methods or strategies so that they can use and apply these strategies for the overall development of the students. In-service teacher education program is also necessary because it equips the teachers with the necessary skills and necessary strategies. It will help the teacher to impart quality education to the students. So in my content, these are the things. First of all, the focus area of this study or paper is in-service teacher education role is in enhancing teacher quality in Odisha, particularly in rural and tribal areas. And policy context are concerned, that is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and National Education Policy 2020 that has defined that NEP 2020 particularly, there should be 50 instructional hours of training for the teachers, elementary teachers, so that the in-service teacher education program will build the professional development of the teachers. Odisha faces challenges like infrastructure gaps, linguistic diversity, and tribal inclusion. These are particularly the challenges because in Odisha there is no sufficient resources, particularly related to the infrastructural resources. So in that particular area, tribal area, rural area, the children face so many problems regarding the classrooms, regarding the electricity, toilet facilities, library facilities. These are the issues which persist in that particular area. Similarly, linguistic diversity is also there, and the teachers who were acquainted with the school's language, they must also develop the or acquire the skills or acquire the language of that particular region, so that it will be easier on the part of the teacher to deliver an effective classroom transaction. And particularly inclusive education, or you can say the tribal inclusion, is also an essential need of the hour. Next is in-service teacher education program or the training serves as a bridge between national educational reforms and classroom realities. The study examines the qualitative depth of IST initiatives. Next, the study objectives are, particularly number one objective is exploring the role of in-service teacher education program in enhancing the professional development. Study objective two is analyzing how policy and programmatic initiatives shape teacher practices. Why we have taken Odisha as a case study? Because in Odisha there persists socio-economic diversity and linguistic context with a 22% of tribal population. Next is region-specific programs such as Sikhya Sanjog. Particularly, this initiative is a digital initiative or which promotes blended learning approach in the field of teaching and learning, and ICT-based learning strengthen relevance. Particularly, if we concern or if we say about the theories, that is Knowles and Raguji, which have defined that adult learners benefit from relevant experience-based instruction. Particularly, Knowles and Raguji emphasizes the need of in-service teacher education program for the professional development of the teachers. Next is Kolb's experiential learning model that promotes reflective and hands-on pedagogical improvement. Kolb also rightly said that he has analyzed the experiential model that have four phases. Number one is concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and next is active experimentation. Particularly, these four aspects Kolb has discussed that is beneficial for the learning of the students, and the teacher must adopt these four cycle or four phases in order to make his or her teaching learning process effective. Next is Mejiro's transformative learning approach that is encourages deep shifts in teacher perspectives and practices. Mejiro also emphasizes the critical reflection dialogue as the key component of the learning process that encourages individuals to reevaluate their assumptions and beliefs. Next is National Education Policy 2020 that mandates 50 instructional hours of training or CPD, that is continuing professional development, that support inclusive and blended learning training. Next is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, Nishtha and Diksha shape the national in-service education landscape. What is the IST structure in Odisha? Actually, DIETs, particularly District Institute of Education and Training and Teacher Education Institutes, act as localized hubs for delivering effective in-service teacher education programs. Number two is programs include multilingual education, inclusive practices, ICT integration. Also, training has been given on the field of content and pedagogy. Use of platforms like eVidyalaya and Diksha for blended learning approach. The objectives are enhancing the subject knowledge, pedagogical skill, and digital literacy among the teachers. Leadership and reflective habits promoted through mentorship and practice. Particularly, if we say the case of diets, in diets, particularly the teacher educators who are teaching the young people teachers, they have been assigned one block per teacher educator, and the teacher educators visited the particular block or particular schools in that particular block in order to monitor or to mentor the teachers in the field of delivering effective teaching learning processes. Methodologies, qualitative case study approach or in-depth understanding of IST impact has been taken for this paper. Data sources have taken from policy documents and reports, program modules, and scholarly studies. Content analysis to extract patterns, challenges, and emergent themes. Secondary indicators used in absence of longitudinal data, that is competency feedback. Ethical standards ensured through proper attribution and use of public data. Program strength and outcomes. In-service teacher education program aligns with national education policy goals and local classroom realities. Particularly the context or the educational context of the teaching learning process should be contextualized or should be localized so that it will benefit the local stakeholders or the students. Teachers use activity-based methods, mobile apps, and multilingual resources. Peer learning, library-based literacy, and formative assessment practices are observed. Increased teacher confidence in classroom management and instructional design. Reported shift towards inclusive, differentiated, and flexible teaching practices. Implementation challenges, as we have already discussed, that infrastructure gaps, limited digital tools, library, electricity in rural areas, uneven resource allocation across districts like Navranpur and Malkangiri, lack of program sustainability, and insufficient follow-up mechanism. Particularly, I would like to focus on this particular aspect because training has been given to the teachers, but proper follow-up or proper mentoring or monitoring has not been done, so that teacher in particular cases they face difficulty while delivering the class or the classroom transaction. They face difficulty. Fragmented delivery and policy discontinuity weaken long-term impact. Limited classroom performance monitoring to reflect training inputs. Policy and pedagogical recommendations, customized in-service teacher education modules to reflect tribal, multilingual, and marginalized context, adopt modular and flexible frameworks to continuous professional development, strengthen real-time monitoring using digital tracking and feedback tools. Particularly, this particular point is very much essential in enhancing the professional development of the teachers and tracking the progress or performance of the teachers. Promote peer learning and professional learning communities. But professional learning communities can be formed by taking the local professionals or the local delegates who have expertise in that particular aspect regarding the curriculum, regarding the strategies, regarding the assessment procedure, regarding the monitoring or mentoring aspect. Incentivize participation through recognition, certification, and career support. Particularly those teachers who have performed better or who have done some innovative practices in that particular school, those teachers must have been recognized and must have been given certificate and must have been support in their career aspect so that they can effectively develop their uh, career also and develop their professional aspect also. Research and global relevance, promote community-based assessment to gauge real-world impact, investigate digital mentorship, virtual training, and blended learning models. Odisha's approach transferable to South Asia, Africa, and Latin America because these are also the developing countries. Programs align with UNESCO's vision for localized and inclusive teacher development. Models like teacher resource centers and Diksha offer scalable solution in resource-poor settings. In conclusion, we can say that in-service teacher education program is very essential for teachers' capacity building in diverse settings like Odisha, because Odisha is a state where there is perceived socio-economic diversity and also a population, particularly you can say that 9.17% of the nation's total population, tribal population. Regional adaptation, technological integration, and robust monitoring are crucial. Odisha's focus on tribal education and community engagement is replicable. Future reforms must prioritize equity, sustainability, and training of the trainers, that is, master trainer experts, because these are the master trainers who build or who given the training to the teachers, and the teachers perform, or the teachers orient the students regarding the particular aspect. These are my references. Thank you all. Any questions?
Thank you, dear Pranati. Your report was very excited, and I have a question. we understand that preparing teacher about your write in your article is has very problems, and if you have 1 month and unlimited budget, where would you start to improve teacher training in your region, in Odisha?
Okay.
1 month.
I'm unable to understand. Can you repeat, ma'am, please?
If you have 1 month
Yes, ma'am.
and unlimited budget.
Unlimited budget.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
What do you do for improve teacher training in Odisha?
Okay, ma'am. First of all, if I have budget, then I will try to solve the issues related to infrastructure actually. Because if the physical facilities will not be available, particularly you can say that we are now saying the age of digital age, digital literacy age. So if sufficient equipments or facilities are not available, so we cannot equip the students or young minds, or we cannot train them regarding the use of digital literacy or digital technology or blended learning, you can say that. So particularly, I will first try to solve the issues related to infrastructure. Next, my aim or my goal will be to solve the problem of teaching methodologies. That is particularly in-service training. In-service training should be robust. Training should be given time to the teachers. After the training, also follow-up is necessary because training has been given to the teachers, but they are not reflecting it in their classroom particularly. They have got the training and they have forgotten it. They are not using it in their classroom. So if follow-up mechanism is also applied, that is particularly the monitoring team or the experts should visit the particular school and they observe what the teachers are doing in that particular school, whether they are using the particular idea or knowledge they have gained from their particular training or not. That should be done. So particular training should be given to the teachers to equip themselves with the current issues and trends related to education. Also, proper monitoring and follow-up mechanisms will also be adopted at the grassroots level. Another important thing I will like to address that training should be given as per the needs of the teachers. It should not be at the hierarchy based training. That means the state officials or the national officials decide what kind of training should be given to the teachers. It is the teachers who had been given the choice that what kind of training is essential for them, so that they will actively engage their students or the make the teaching learning process interesting and enjoyable for the students. The teachers will be involved in deciding or designing the training module or the training curricula particularly. The teachers should also be given involved. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We can see that you have very many decision for teacher training in your region, and I think that India and Ukraine now have some similar problems in educational process. But we hope that quickly will be
We hope that our joint issues both in budgets,
Yes.
teacher digital literacy, also will be digitally transformed by your efforts, by the exciting teachers and the happy students in our digital society. Thank you, Pranati, very much for your talk. And
Thank you, sir.
we need to continue, but we have some technical issue. Dr. Andrzej Marian-Sver now physically in the United States, in the Eastern Coast. It's a deep night, so he can't join us with his live talk. So I'm sorry, but this talk will be presented by me on behalf on Dr. Sver. Irina, can I share my screen?
We have
Oh, thank you very much. So I will start the presentation of Dr. Sver and will try to comment both his research and his talk. Dr. Andrew Marian-Sver is now an invited researcher in the Norway Institute of Science and Technology. His research is devoted to the civic education in the Polish National Army. This work examines how military education evolved during a critical period in Polish history, a struggle for independence, and how it helped shape the national identity during time of the tremendous struggle. This is a period of so-called Polish divide, such Polish divide in the end of 18th century. In this presentation, Dr. Svel examined one of the most fascinating Polish periods in the Polish educational history, the years between 1794, both the French and Polish Revolution, and 1964 represent a time of national upheaval and struggle for independence. Moreover, Tadeusz Kościuszko was the participant of American struggle of independence, the only foreign general in the young United States Army. During this period, military education underwent significant transformation. This period can divide in 5 distinct subperiods shown in the slide, each with own characters. The Kościuszko Uprising, the Polish Legion in Italy, the Duke of Warsaw, and the Kingdom of Poland, the November uprising in the during French Reconstruction, and finally the January uprising of 1933. During, due to time constraints, I'll, on behalf of the ESO, try to focus specifically on civic education within this military formation, highlighting how the concept of the soldier citizen developed and influences the Polish national spirit. To provide consent of Dr. Sver's paper, it's important to understand the fundamental role of army played as a state institution. In Ukraine last years, we have a similar transformation. Through the history, the army has been one of the oldest and most essential components of state organization, with its strengths and efficiency often determining the fate of the nation. The recent conflict between India and Pakistan confirm that both political wisdom and the army strength is critical to the state survive. This was particularly true for Poland, whose geopolitical position as Ukraine made a strong, well-equipped, and properly trained military absolutely essential for survival. As a highly formalization institution with its own regulation, the army's effectiveness relied not just its equipment, command structure, and communication, but significantly on the human element, specifically the upbringing and education of its soldiers. The morale, courage, physical condition, discipline, and the passiveness of soldiers were critical factors that military educations aimed to develop and strengthen. These qualities become even more important during the struggle for independence. Significant transformations occurred in military organization at the turn of 18th to 19th century, with the emergence of national armies. This phenomenon was observed not only in Poland, but also in revolutionary France and independent United States. National armies differed fundamentally from feudal armies in several important ways. They introduced universal military service as a civic duty rather than an obligation of a single social class, nobles, etc. They establish a stronger connection between the army and broader society, fostering a more democratic relation between ranks, and opened the officers' corps to promotion based on merit rather than on noble birth. These characteristics strengthened national consciousness and unity. The Polish National Army that formed during this period embodied this change with revolutionary concepts of soldier citizens or citizen soldiers, marking a departure from feudal military traditions. This conception recognizes soldiers as full citizens and defenders of their homeland, regardless of their social background. The Kościuszko uprising at the end of 8th century represents a watershed moment in Polish military education. For the first time in the history of Polish army forces, we will see well-planned, large-scale educational activities being implemented systematically. General Tadeusz Kościuszko himself played a pivotal role in uniting the concepts of soldier and civic education. His famous declaration that I will not fight for the nobility alone. I want the freedom of the whole nation, and I will risk my life only for it. This declaration encapsulated the democratic spirit that guided the uprising. Under Kościuszko's leadership, every soldier, regardless regardless of her origin or social status, was treated as citizen and defendant of the homeland, motherland of their noble Poland. He demanded that his commanders show respect and kindness to their soldiers and treat them equally. Kostyuszko emphasized the soldiers were defined not by their uniforms or weapons, but their courage and determination to win. Kostyuszko was the only general in Polish army that was not winning during this uprising. Such approach marked a revolutionary departure from feudal military traditions and laid the groundwork for future developments in military education. Unfortunately, this uprising is fall. After the fall, the center of patriotic and civic education of Polish soldiers shifted to Italy, where the Polish Legion were formed alongside with French for the Napoleon army. General Henryk Dąbrowski, the creator and commander, explicitly stated that he created this legion to save my homeland, not for France, not for Italy, not for myself, but exclusively for the Polish nation. The legion's functions not just as a military formation, but a comprehensive school of civic education. They place a significant emphasis on educational work, training command staff, and spreading education among command soldiers. Several innovations institutions were established to facilitate this educational mission, including the Roman Military Institute and the Soldiers and Citizen School. Perhaps most notably, the Legion's publishes Legion's Decade, the first soldiers' newspaper in the history of armed forces, which was guided by the maxim, a true soldier, a citizen conscious of the country. This educational initiative played a crucial role in shaping soldiers' personalities and fostering a model of the Polish citizen patriot soldiers fighting for the freedom of both their homeland and other nations. We are very glad that Polish soldiers are now fighting for the freedom on Ukraine and in this century. The formation of the duty of vassal provided an opportunity to implement on home soil the educational models developed within the Polish legions in Italy. The French ambassadors in Warsaw, Louis Pierre Bignon, observed that there had never been a more national army than this one, for in it rested the hope of winning national existence. Also, the duty was not a complete fulfillment of Polish aspirations for independence. It serves as a kind of substitute for a free homeland and bound Poland in strong alliance with Republican France. This opened hope for the eventual restoration of a fully independent Polish state. The army of the duty was organized as a truly national force fulfilling nationwide tasks, particularly those related to liberation and defense. Civic education during this period focuses on developing soldiers' patriotism, will to win, and high morale. The educational educational system promoted the idea that a soldier was a full-fledged citizen and defender of their motherland, fatherland, homeland. The democratic principles of civic, patriotic, and moral education implemented during this period were remarkable progressive for their time and utilized the wide range of educational forms and method, from proper superior subordinate relations to the symbolic use of national emblems on their uniforms and banners. The period of the Polish Kingdom of Poland, witnessed a regression in military education due to the I'm sorry, Russian influence and the personal interference of Grand Duke Konstantin Romanov, the brother and viceroy of Tsar Alexander I. Constantine's policy aimed the Russifying of Polish army and transforming along the lines of Tsarist military, with democratic ideals being systematically suppressed. During this period, two parallel educational trends emerged within the Polish military. The official trend based on Russian model suits to foster complete devotion to the Russian throne among Polish soldiers, particularly within the officer corps. In contrast, a semi-official trend rooted in the tradition of Polish national liberation movement continued to reference the educational approaches developed during Kościuszko uprising and the Polish legions. Interestingly, military schools became important centers of anti-Russification activities during this time. The training provided within these institutions, combined with the elements of civic education, yielded tangible results in the form of patriotic attitudes among staff and students. These patriotic foundations would later manifest in the participation in the November uprising against Russian rule, demonstrating the enduring power of earlier educational initiatives despite Russian attempts to suppress them. The outbreak to the November of prices brought about a radical transformation in the educational process within the insurgent army forces. The concept of civic education during this period directly reflected to the goal of the uprising and the national character of army. This educational approach consistently considered Kościuszko's educational philosophy, references the glorious traditions of the Polish military celebration national heroes and emphasizing their love of freedom. The educational process reverted to intentions similar to those implemented during the previous insurrection in the Polish region and the arming of the duty of Warsaw. The primary goal of education during the November uprising was to shape civic awareness and attitudes among soldiers. There was a particular emphasis on patriotism and developing the will to fight and win against the invader. This became the central focus of civic education during this period. The November uprising ultimately covered the Polish army with glory and became the inspiration for subsequent strategies for national liberation. Perhaps most importantly, the ethos of the army and its cadre remained intact throughout this challenging period, preserving the democratic and patriotic principles that had been developed over the preceding decades. The January uprising, its final part of the Andrew talks, represented the final major independent struggle within this research period. The army forces during this final uprising were distinctly different from early formation, as they operated primarily as partisans units composed mainly of volunteers. This social composition was notably diverse, including urban intelligence, burghers, craftsmen, the emerging urban proletariat, and peasantry. Significantly, a large portion of the common course was recruited from these non-noble classes, giving the uprising a distinctly popular character. Due to the partisan nature of the fight, the educational approach has to adapt to different circumstances. The primary aim of educational work during this period was to mobilize partisan soldiers to continue fighting and to instill in them faith of the possibility of victory, despite the previous problems. Appeals to national and military traditions were an important component of this educational effort. Who conduct this work? These were appointed military commissioners and chaplains. Priests serving in insurgent units expanded their role beyond religious service to include broader educational activities. Through uprising, the insurgent authorities emphasized the relations between superiors and subordinates should be based on mutual respect and trust, recognizing that people who sacrifice their life for the homeland are worthy of the higher price. Through the period that we discussed, a variety of educational methods and contexts were employed to shape the soldier citizen. This includes establishing proper relations between superior and subordinates based on respect, implemented disciplinary practice that upheld dignity, utilizing military ceremonies to reinforce values, integration educational element into the training process, and conducting dedicated educational activities. Visual reinforcement was also important, with national symbol prominently displayed on banners and uniform. Educational context frequently appeared to the tradition of Polish mythology, a Polish glory to inspire and motivate soldiers. There were constituted emphasis on development of each soldier's personal dignity and sense of honor, which were considered essential qualities for citizen soldiers. Educational efforts sought to create an emotional connection between soldiers and cause of liberation, making them personally invested in the struggle for independence. Military compliance played a significant role beyond a religious function, engages in broad educational activities that reinforces patriotic values, moral and spirit of the soldier citizen. Similarly, specifically appointed military commissioners conducted formal education work through that rank. This diverse approach demonstrates how thoroughly civic education was integrated into military life, touching every aspect of the soldier's experience. The educational practice across this period were united by several core principles shown and key ideas shown in the slide. These principles recognize the universal dignity of the soldiers regardless of birth, promoted democratic relations between ranks, and emphasized merit-based advances. The democratic values underpinning these educational approaches included respect for human dignity, freedom, democracy, and tolerance. Through this educational framework, the Polish military actively worked to form citizen patriots, patriot soldiers who understood their dual role as both defenders of the nation and members of civic society. The development of civic education in the Polish military faces significant challenges during this period. Educational efforts were hampered by the dynamic of activity fighting, and in the case of the general uprising by the partisan nature. Despite the substantial obstacles, there were remarkable achievements. The military education developed an interesting and effective forms and methods of educational work that successfully shaped patriotic attitudes and civic consciousness among the soldiers. Perhaps most importantly, military education helped preserve national identity during foreign occupation and had a long-lasting impact on Polish military tradition. The significance of this period in Polish military education extended far beyond its historical time frame. It established a long, rich, and beautiful tradition that shaped valuable soldiers' virtues for generations to come. The educational system, the development was based on Christian values and a love of homeland. It consistently focused on shaping the moral character of soldiers, not just their technical military abilities. These principles have maintained their relevance despite the passage of times. In conclusion, the Polish National Army in the indicated period developed progressive, democratic, and patriotic educational content that was revolutionary for its time. The emphasis on citizenship among soldiers represented a dramatic departure from previous military traditions and helped create a new understanding of military service as a civic duty. These democratic educational ideas remained visible through all periods of struggle in the following centuries. Despite attempts of occupying forces during the First and Second World War that to suppress them. This research represents valuable contributions of Dr. Swer in broad historical and pedagogical discussions on military education and its role in national identity formations. I hope it stimulates the further research and discussion about the fascinating aspect of educational history. We will waiting for the research of the history of transformation in Ukrainian army during its struggle during the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine. Unfortunately, I see Dr. Zwer still not with us, but I hope that his talk represented by me was not only impressive, but his historical, but useful for all of us. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. But your presentation was very impressive. And dear Dr. Semerikov, dear Professor Semerikov, your presentation was fascination. And this report was last at this our conference.
But only it's this conference section.
Yes.
Tomorrow, yes, we will see Dr. Svetlana Malchenko and together with Dr. Minty, they introduce our the following program.
Yes, yeah, I invite I invite you join to next conference. For example, tomorrow we have two section in Icon Master 2025 math education and physics education. For example, math education starting at 9:60 and physics education and the next section is STEM education. Next
Both chemistry and geography education will be.
yes, and computer science education will start at
This Friday.
Friday, так, yes, and educational technology in Sunday, at Sunday, так, yes.
No, not in Sunday, this Saturday.
Saturday.
Mhm.
Okay, and I invite to follow the status our material conference material at our site Not So Easy Education. For example, you can see more information about previously conferences, conference archive, conference submitted closed, and conference submitted opened. And dear Professor Semerikov, maybe you can talk us about our science week.
Yes, thank you, Irina Sergeyevna. In Ukraine, this Sunday will be our professional professional duty regarding the Science Day of Ukraine. But today we have a quite good science week that I would like to invite all, both today presenter, listener, etc., to join in our scientific journey. We have some related conference and workshop this week. Today, the International Conference on History, Theory I'm sorry, and methodology of learning. Since Wednesday, we have an Icon Mastered International Conference on Mathematics, Science, and Technology education. Both these conferences are joined with two workshops, our traditional cloud technologies in education and augmented reality in education. We developed, I hope, an interesting program. Almost 60 presentations will be this week, and some of them were today. I thank you very much all for the both duties, the excitement in the science. I hope our next year will be peaceful for all of us. For at last, we can join it in not only virtual space. I will be happy to invite all of us in the center of Ukraine, the excellent city Kryvyi Rih. Thank you for all, and meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Дякуємо і до побачення, до зустрічі на наступних наших конференціях.
Bye. Thanks.
На все
До
добре.
зустрічі.